Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We here at the channel are continuing in our series of videos with respect to education, information, inspiration, guidance, advice. And I want to tell you a story about the Kotzker Rebbe in relation to a verse in Genesis. This was after the death of Sarah, the matriarch, and Isaac was married to Rebecca, and the verse 24:67, and thus was Yitzhak consoled after his mother. And our sages tell us that this was because Rivka, the matriarch Rebecca, possessed all of the good spiritual qualities that Sarah had, and he was able to be consoled because he saw in his wife all those wonderful qualities, and he was comforted despite the fact that he was until then inconsolable. And I'm reminded of the story of the Kotzker Rebbe, Menachem Mendel of Kotzker, and he was brilliant and had a very high moral, spiritual madrega plateau, and he had a little tolerance for the mundane. He had a sterling quality and a high standard for emes, for truth and integrity. And at first he was secluded. He kept his way from people because he was plumbing the depths of the Torah and delving into deep profundities and secrets. But every once in a while, he found time to reach out, to guide, to respond, and to comfort those who came to him to benefit. Well, one day, Rav Menachem Mendel, he was the Rav of Zedunska, Walle. Same name as the Kotzker Rebbe, Menachem Mendel. And he came to the Kotzker Rebbe forlorn, broken-hearted over the tragic death of his young daughter. He could not reconcile himself with the terrible loss and had a very, very difficult time accepting this bitter gezerah, this bitter heavenly decree. And chas v'sholom, he was a little resentful against the Eibishter, against God, and he couldn't justify it. He couldn't reconcile himself, and he needed help. He went to the Kotzker Rebbe. So the Rebbe welcomes him in, welcomes into his home, and he decides that he and the other Menachem Mendel, the other Rav of Zedunska Walle, would sit down and do a little studying. That's what rabbis do. We sit, we study. And he pointed out a particular passage in the Talmud. He said he was having great difficulty with it. So the Rav, Menachem Mendel, the visiting rabbi, was very quick to respond and elucidate the words of Chazal, how our sages interpret this verse. Fine. So the Kotzker Rebbe then asked him a compelling question with respect to Rashi's commentary and exegesis. Once again, Rav Menachem Mendel, the visitor, presented a brilliant response to the Kotzker Rebbe's question. The Kotzker Rebbe then questioned Tosfos. These are the medieval writers in a page of Talmud. They're usually along the margin right beside the Rashi. And these are the medieval commentators commenting on the various passages in the Talmud. So he's asking a question on Tosfos. He and the Rebbe, the visiting rabbi, he continued to expound on this and resolve the commentaries by Tosfos to Rashi and to the other Chazal, it was wrapped it all up. The guy did an amazing analysis of this very difficult verse in the Talmud. So when the visiting rabbi, Menachem Mendel, concluded his explanation of the entire passage, the Talmud, the Rashi, the Tosfos, the Kotzker Rebbe looked at him with a very penetrating gaze and said, if the Talmud is correct and Rashi's commentary is validated and the Tosfos commentary is satisfactory, then surely Hashem is justified. He's right. Hashem's right. And the visiting Rabbi Menachem Mendel understood the profound message, and he was comforted. We're able to justify everything in life because we want to do so. It serves our needs. So why should we not do the same for Hashem? We should also give Hashem the benefit of the doubt. We should also view and judge Hashem favorably. We have to trust that Hashem knows and does what is ultimately for the good in the long run. It's sometimes a very bitter pill to swallow because we don't know what the end will be in the long run. We just see the short-term effects. It's very terrible. The death of a child, the death of a young girl is a horrible thing, and it's very, very difficult. Not for us not to have harsh thoughts, God forbid, against God. How could you do this? This is the kindness of God. This is the chesed of Hashem, that a little girl should die. We judge others favorably. We give others the benefit of the doubt. Let's give Hashem the benefit of the doubt. He knows what he's doing, and even though in the short term things are bitter, we have to trust that in the long term everything comes out for the best. We're going to be doing more videos along these lines. Please come back, please watch, please learn, and until next time, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.